And here we are on Ohana, and in the top left-hand corner of the map, we have our red Protoss player from MVP. Their second player trying to tie things up. It is Finale. And his opponent in the lower right-hand corner from SlayerS, our blue Zerg player trying to stretch it to a 2-0 lead. It is Coca.
Yep, and Coca always makes me think of whenever he plays in GSL and someone beats him, they always drink Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that will ever go out of style, or if like someone will try to figure out some new way of BMing him in a celebration. Like,
no, I'm pretty sure he's going to be like
he's pretty much
78 years old,
yeah.
and he'll be playing chess in the park against some other old guy. He'll lose, and the guy will just slam down a Coke and throw the can at him.
Yeah,
so.
That's probably going to happen. He kind of cursed himself to having unoriginal ceremonies when he loses. Yep. That's just something to think about when you're picking your gamer tag, you know?
Yeah,
just,
an important consideration.
Yeah, when you're losing, is the guy going to have the same celebration every single time?
That's right.
It's, you know, just work on it.
Gets old.
Finale would be interesting, right? Because if Finale loses, then you're like, how do you celebrate against that? There's no... It's like, well, it is over. I mean,
yeah, I guess.
That was the finale.
That was a finale.
Yeah.
You're done, but oh well.
Yeah, it's hard to celebrate. That's the kind of name choosing that really shines through.
That's right.
In a situation like this.
But if Finale doesn't win all the games, it's counterintuitive, so that would be disappointing.
Or if Finale only wins like the first game and then loses the rest.
Well, that wasn't a finale at all.
It was a bad finale.
There's still more after this. Hey, pretty normal stuff for both our players. Going to be a Nexus first now for Finale, and this is a map where it's pretty easy to pull that off. Of course, it's a very long walk distance, despite the fact that it's a two-player map. And Coca, of course, making sure he puts down a pool so he avoids any sort of shenanigans at the beginning of this game.
That's right, and actually notice Finale is not going to even try to block this at all. It's pretty easy for a Zerg player to just walk on over to the third base here on Ohana and get that started instead. We've seen that from Hyun a million times in the last 4 or 5 weeks, as he's been playing a lot of Protoss players, showing off all those various builds. By the way, if you play Zerg and you haven't watched any of Hyun's Fight Club games, you probably should, because he's just murdering everything at the moment.
That's right.
So go to youtube.com/IGNProLeague, and all those VODs will be available. But Coca, actually, I wonder if he's going to do what Hyun did yesterday and just kill everybody. I mean, that's possible, I guess. But.
So, yeah, he's 10-0 in the past 2 weeks. I just want to mention that. So he 5-0'd Grubby and then decided that that wasn't enough of a challenge and 5-0'd the reigning IPL4 champion alive.
Yes, and actually someone did post he's 30-8 over the last it's
pretty good.
5 weeks, no, 6 weeks, excuse me, of Fight Club. It's a pretty good record, yeah, 30-8.
We still don't have the next scheduled opponent yet, so we'll find out, although Hyun is furiously tweeting at IGNProLeague all the time that I've been seeing, like, I want to be the 7-time champion now, so.
He followed us.
I know!
Yeah.
Good guy.
Thanks, Hyun, if you're watching.
Yes.
These teams have nothing to do with you.
But we love you nonetheless.
Yeah, and actually I think we might have a challenger.
Oh, we do.
I think Roxkiss Titan might be.
Oh, it is going to be Titan.
Might
Okay.
be up,
all right.
up for contention, but we'll find out for sure.
I was not informed yet.
We'll find out for sure. Frank did tell me that Titan was ready to go, and we'll see if any other challengers pop up or something happens. But I think Titan's slated for Monday, so we'll be able to see how he does against Hyun on Monday.
Interesting to note, Finale deciding to go through the rocks very, very early. A lot of times you'll see that coinciding with a quick robo or something along those lines, but it's happening pretty quick now for Finale. So we'll see if Coca is going to be able to take advantage of that in any way, shape, or form. We see that 5-minute scout coming out from Finale just to make sure that there's a third base down. You've got to do that, as you don't want any sort of weird two-base high-tech strategies coming at you. Something like mutas can actually work on this map if you're unprepared for it.
That's true. There are some nice attack spots for mutas, but when you're contained in on 2 bases, you can actually defend okay as long as you have a good enough stalker count. Blink obviously certainly helps, but so far Finale really hasn't shown us a whole lot other than this robotics facility. Not sure where he's going to head with that afterwards. Probably Colossi.
Yeah,
just Colossi.
Well, that's the this is the robotics facility that I was referring to before. When you take down that quick destructible rocks, as he's gotten down about halfway now, produce an immortal, make 4 gates, build a few sentries, and you've got yourself a pretty easy to defend third base on Ohana. So Coca will probably need to react. I mean, unless he really wants to commit to the strong all-in strategy, and we're probably going to see drops out of him or tier 3 tech. I would doubt that he's just going to do a conventional 200 Roach Max. He'll probably do it alongside drops or go up to a third base or go up to tier 3 tech.
I always like to see when the supply tab actually has over 100 roaches. That's always no, it's impossible. But it is fun to see those huge numbers of roaches just every once in a while. Obviously, if you're playing ladder, it might not be that fun to see huge waves of roaches all the time. But I don't know. Sometimes it's fun to see just how they are able to use that one unit so effectively. It reminds me of Marine King's games where he just only builds Marines and still makes it work. Just kind of interesting to see sometimes.
Really interesting out of Finale deciding to expand behind just 3 gates in that robotics facility, so doing this really minimal. Oh, did I see extra gates? Ah, there we go. Okay, so he decided to completely scrap this. He's left this actually at 1,099 hit points the entire time, and he's going to go ahead with a little bit stronger strategy here. 6 gates and a robo for now.
Yep, 2-base play could work out. Coca really hasn't built a whole lot of anything yet, although this
7 gate
first wave of roaches is starting to come out now. Coca's been mainly focusing on getting expansions and drones and, you know, preparing his overlords just to make sure that he can start creating like crazy once he gets the tech in place that he wants.
All right, well, warp gates are coming online now. Like we mentioned before, it is a total of 7 gates with a pretty heavy amount of immortals. This is a little bit late to do. Maybe he can just go. It seemed like he completely switched gears, though. He was thinking about taking the super fast third, then kind of switch over to what you would think would be a +1 7-gate 3 immortal push. But since then, started taking down the destructible rocks again. So with that warp prism coming out, I certainly think he's going to put on, yeah, a lot of pressure. That 3 immortal push is so strong to deal with, but seemed like he was a bit indecisive getting to that point.
This game actually is reminding me of Hyun versus Crank because there's so many sentries and a couple of immortals that the first encounter with Lings is going to make such a massive difference. So Coca already spots this with his overlord there, or with actually Lings scattered kind of all over the place. Coca walks around to actually attack into the natural. There's only 1 cannon there, but it is a complete wall off, so he's not going to really be able to dent that. And Finale's still on the move. What Coca can do now is actually sandwich all of these sentries and immortals, force a ton of force fields out, and then just back off. So we'll see how he actually manages to work this out.
There's an awful lot of gates coming up, but this attack has been delayed just a little bit. Finale still getting it off the ground, of course, but it's been a little bit late in coming, and it has given time for Coca to produce a few additional units. But even with producing a few additional units, this is still one of the absolute scariest pushes for any Zerg player to deal with.
And we'll see how it actually progresses. He is down 46 supply, but with this constant round of warp-ins here, he may be able to catch that up pretty quickly. As long as he keeps everything alive, he will be in good shape.
This is beautiful positioning for Finale, though. In this little choke point, he can only be assaulted by 2 separate paths instead of a full 360 degrees. So he actually has a perfect... Oh, that couldn't have been any better. I mean, those were just perfect force fields. He segments the army right now. Finale is showing how to make this work with just absolute stellar positioning.
That's right, and those force fields last so long that he's actually basically got this 3rd base trapped in here. The warp prism, of course, allowing for more warp-ins as he goes along, and he is going to actually not quite finish off the hatchery, as he does have to defend his army. He's always got to be aware of those other roaches. The Zealot should just hop over there and kill it down. Just do it. There he goes. A couple more shots from the Stalkers. But we do have Lings and roaches running in. More force fields on both sides. The sentries are going to get a little bit lower here, so this is where it really counts. He has to keep these roaches at bay long enough with these immortals to be able to keep what he has here alive and reinforce with Zealots. And these roaches don't really have great attack paths here. 1 immortal went down, but there's still 2 standing with tons and tons of kills on them.
And the sentries were still up with a bunch of force fields through the vast majority of that fight. I mean, Finale is going to lose a good portion of his army, but he's done everything he set out to do. He killed a base, he disrupted the economy, he annihilated a good amount of drones as well. Yeah, he's already killed 18 workers. That was basically perfect. Even though it came a little bit late, the positioning for Finale was just unbelievable.
Can we see how many kills the Immortal actually has? There were 3 Immortals at the start of this, tons of kills on them, and this one with 18, I have to imagine combined they had something like 60 kills. We've seen that before, where 3 Immortals can just get tons and tons of kills as we progress here.
Units.
That is quite a lot, but if you notice, Coca's still standing. He is making more roaches and Lings. He's getting rid of that pylon at least, so warp-ins can't happen from over there anymore. I believe the warp prism is still standing somewhere, as there's no anti-air anywhere, so Finale's still just moving around. The warp prism actually going to run back in to try and do a little bit of harassment, perhaps, at the natural.
More Immortals starting to pop out as looks like Finale is going to go into stage 2 of this attack. He does lose one Stalker up at the front, but whenever Zealots close with Roaches, they're just so effective against them. I mean, that is just devastating. And this Immortal still continuing to rack up those kills, up to 23, 24 kills now.
We do have the Warp Prism actually sneaking around the back. I'm curious if it's going to manage to get anything done here. Yes, he is going to warp in a handful of Zealots, it looks like, to try and take out that Queen and perhaps some drones while Koka's army is abroad trying to take out the main army. Finale getting further and further ahead here, not really losing any units.
No, I mean, this has been fine. I mean, the only danger is if his opponent would be able to starve him out at 2 bases, but realistically, that's going to be very difficult to accomplish, especially with the control of the map that he has. I'm not trying to sound all doom and gloom for Koka, don't get me wrong. I'm just more amazed that Finale was able to pull this off so successfully. It was really well done.
Yeah, he's still chugging along, too, killing off some creep tumors with that Observer overhead, so no matter what he does, at least he's going to have some damage done, and it doesn't look like Koka really has much to fight with here at all. He's going to try and do a little bit of flanking with these 6 or 7 Roaches on the backside, but a couple of force fields will keep them out of the fight entirely. We'll just have to see how Finale controls this. This little mini death ball without Colossi is actually just doing wonders for him. That's a ton of sentries still standing, and a ton of Zealots.
Perfect engagement from the Zealots as well, and Finale kills yet another base of his opponent, and really 60 supply and falling now for Koka, and he is on his last legs.
This seems like an inevitable conclusion. Koka still making Zerglings and Roaches, never had a chance really to replace any of the drones that he lost, and there's the GG before any kind of huge engagement just kills him completely.
Okay, well, that is a game in the bag now with a strong 2-base 3 Immortal push from Finale.